Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shadowed City podcast. I am your host, Larry. This is The Shadows Within. Now, I have an interview coming up here soon at 10 PST time and at 5 p.m. UK time. But I wanted to get this out of the way first before I get to that. And my interview will be on Breaking Kayfabe with Jan Matza. Tomorrow I have Taylor on here with Wrestling with Pride. And then the third day, on Wednesday, I'll be having the Hound Dog on here. True honor for me to interview those gentlemen. I do hope everybody's having a great day, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it all may be. And I'm also going to be interviewing next Monday, Miss Lottie. Welcome, Ethan. Welcome. Starting off with what we have to go over are a few EFED shows, starting with TXT The Pinnacle, Day 1 and Day 2. For the TXT Apex Predator Championship, it was Britt Graves versus the champion Emily Wright, where Emily Wright retained the gold. Extreme Rules Fatal 5-Way, Larry Loco versus Adrian Danger versus SGK versus Psycho versus Inkslinger, where Psycho walked away victorious. We also have Extreme Rules between Violet Death, Six, and Madison Outlaw, where Madison Outlaw walked away victorious. For the TXT World Tag Team Championships, the Show Stealers versus the Red Wolves, the champions, where the Red Wolves retained the gold. For the TXT Gladiator Championship, Dimebag Dan took on the champion AJ Albright, where Dimebag Dan walked out the new champion. For the TXT United States Championship, Jay Smoke took on the champion Crazy Joker, where Jay Smoke walked out the new champion. Extreme Rules Buster Anderson versus Mad King versus Evil Johnny, with Buster Anderson walking away victorious. For TXT, the Pinnacle continues on for Day 1. Haley Ramone versus Amaya Bryant, with Amaya Bryant walking away victorious. TXT Universal Championship for the men, Dr. Grimm versus the champion Jack Graves, where Jack Graves retained. And in the main event for the TXT Women's Undisputed Championship, Lakeisha Wilson versus the champion Nikita Sakamoto, where Nikita Sakamoto retained the gold. Now for TXT Pinnacle Day 2. Tyson Storm versus Damian Briggs, with Damian Briggs walking away victorious. Extreme Rules Fatal 4-Way, Grimlord versus Killian Bain versus the villain Todd Wilson versus El Padrino, Savage Vega. Welcome. Leo Blade is in the house. Welcome, sir. I hope you are well. With the villain Todd Wilson walking away victorious. Extreme Rules Fatal 5-Way, HBIC Nisha versus The Baker versus Taylor Griffin versus Jocelyn versus Veronica LeBeau, where Jocelyn walked out victorious. TXT World Tag Team Championships, TLC, Show Stealers, Big Fran and Adrian Blackwell versus the champions, The Madness, where the Show Stealers walked away the new champions. TXT Women's Heritage and Honors Championship, Kailana Wilson versus Angel Bryant, the champion, where Angel Bryant retained the gold. TXT Heritage and Honor Championship for the men's, Oconee took on the champion Eddie Walker, where Eddie Walker retained the gold. TXT Women's Universal Championship, Bunny Black versus the champion Riley, with Riley retaining the gold. And in the main event for the TXT Undisputed World Championship, AJ Woods versus the champion John Wigginton, where John Wigginton retained the gold. Now we are going to go over GPW. Hold on. There we go. Wendy Rogue versus Britt Graves, with Britt Graves walking away victorious. Steel Cage, Jay Blaze versus Aku, with Aku walking away victorious. Extreme Rules, Bobo the Clown versus Buster Anderson, with Buster Anderson walking away victorious. Falls Count Anywhere, Carnage versus Akane, with Akane walking away victorious. Battle Royal 8-man, Demon versus Jaquil versus Turtle Harrington versus Ace Green versus Blaze Vortex versus Ranger Rogue versus Keith Hunt versus Kabuki Dragon, where Turtle Harrington walked away victorious. And in the main event, Jay Blaze versus Big Lou versus Eddie Walker, with Big Lou walking away victorious. That's what I had to go over at the moment for eFed Show. Stay tuned, as there will be a possible war room this week. If not this week, then we will still have them regardless. There will probably be TPW Wolves Den today, depending. And if not today, possibly tomorrow. But how they want the schedule is Monday Wolves Den, Wednesday MTM, Friday Vixens Flames, and yeah, it's basically what we got going on here for that. And also the ladies pay-per-view should be either Saturday or Sunday, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, stay tuned for all that, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope everybody has a great day, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever y'all may be. Peace out.